So, figured I'd make a video since it's been a while since I made one. I think the last video I made, I was out disking, and I made a couple since then, and never put them through on YouTube, so who knows if this one will make it through. Probably will. There'll be some good stuff going here, but ignore the phone in my face. I am putting a jump pack on the combine because I'm most of the way through this field. I got probably 3 passes over there, if that I got to finish up, and then this field will be done. As you can see, I got a new tractor. I'll get into that. This battery went dead over the summer, so I got to jump it with a jump pack now. If you shut it off after you've been running it, it'll fire back up. Just it dies overnight. Doesn't matter if you disconnect the battery or not. Oh, put you down for a second here. She fired up. She's a little smoky when she first fires off. A little smoky. Clears up after a little while. So what have I got to catch you up on? Yeah, new tractor. I got this 1086. I think it's a 78 model. Basically what happened was, I don't know if I think I got it on video. I think. But the 856 died in this field while I was disking. And right in that corner over there, that wet spot, I buried it. And then I think in the midst of me trying to get it out, she locked up. So I'm gonna edit this in because I kind of misspoke when I was talking about the 856 blowing up. Tractor got stuck and I was working trying to get it out of the field where it sank, and we left it there. It got pulled out, but my buddy came out with a loader, pulled it out, and once we got it out, I had it sitting there idling, and while we were hooking up to pull the disc out, because I unhooked the disc from the tractor to get it out of the hole, the tractor had shut down. The tractor died. I went to go fire back up and it turned over really slow. So I figured I had fuel issues with it before, like at the other field. I figured the fuel issues were still there, and then just the battery had died, or the starter was screwed up because I had issues with that as well. Figures 2 issues at once. So I didn't have a jump pack or anything with me, so we left it alone. I went back the next day with the jump pack and fired right up. While it was sitting there idling, warming up, it died after like, I don't know, a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Same thing, went to go fire it back up and it was turning over super slow. I cleaned the connections off, all that, you know, didn't matter. Went back the next day, assumed it had a dead cell in the battery or something. Came back the next day with a battery and the jump pack and everything else. And I think I had a starter solenoid too. I think I put a new starter solenoid in it. And same thing, got it running and then it died. Still thought it was a fuel issue. But at that point, that's when we were trying to put fertilizer down. It was in the way, I had to get it out of there. So I towed it with my pickup to the edge of the field. And like the next weekend, I went to go pick it up because I figured something's wrong. I got to bring it home, go through it. And I had it running, and that's when I was like, I just got to get it up on the trailer because I don't want to have to drag this thing through the field and then drag it up onto the trailer, blah, blah, blah. I don't have a winch. So I fired it up and gave it a little bit of throttle, went to go take off, and that's when it locked up. There was a fucking metallic knock, and that was it. And I dropped the PAM when I got it home, and number 2 rod had spun, and it scored the hell out of the crank. It trashed it. So the motor was just getting tight because it must have spun a bearing. I don't know if it was from me working it back and forth or what happened. It was a little bit low on oil too, which is weird because when I drained the oil out of the pan, there was only maybe 2 gallons of oil came out, and I think it takes 5. But on the stick, it was right at the ad mark, and I wouldn't think that it would be, the ad mark on the stick would be that low. I wouldn't think so. So I never thought too much of adding oil to it until I drained the pan and saw what was going on. But that's what happened at 856, and I had it all apart, and it was pretty much ready to pull the crank, and I couldn't find a crank, and I was running out of time, and I said screw it, and I ended up selling the tractor to a guy. He's going to rebuild it. Gave him the caveat, because I loved that tractor, that if he sold it, I had the first right of refusal with it. He said that's fine. So if he ever decides to get rid of it, he's got to let me know that he's selling it, and then go from there. But that is what happened at the 856. Unfortunate end to it because it was a great tractor. Funny story though, this tractor here that I have now, the 1086, I was talking about getting rid of the 856 and buying a cab tractor, and I saw that for sale in Jersey, and the guy said he would consider a trade for other tractors, and I was contemplating trading the 856 for it. And that's right after I messaged him, was like a couple days later is when the motor locked up on it. And then funny enough, I bought it anyway and still had the issue with the friggin' 1086 that I'm going to go into detail here in a minute, but figure I'd clear that up before someone says something else. Then I went to this in New Jersey. I bought this for $9. Looked great, ran good, heat, AC, everything else. Test drove it at the kid's house and it had good oil pressure, preface that. I go up the next week, pay him the rest of what I had, tow it home. I serviced it the next day. When I pulled the oil filters off, because they screw them from the top, you could see there was shavings in the filter housing, like big flakes, we'll call it. So I serviced it, fired it up, and ran it, and I had no oil pressure after it warmed up. It got to operating temp, and it had 0 oil pressure at all. We got it back, dropped the pan, and I don't want to say all of them, but I'm going to say probably, I think it was 4 of the 6 mains were trash. There was no bearing material left. Number 3 or 2, one of them had literally just spun on the freaking crank, probably within the last 2 minutes, because you could see the bearing, the upper bearing was, when I pulled the cap, the upper bearing was in the cap, and you could see it had scored the crank up a little bit. We went through, because again, I don't have time to clean the crank up or replace it or whatever, so we filed it down, or sanded it down, I should say, polished it up, put new bearings in it, and I've probably got 10 hours on it now, and a lot of it's been idling. But so far so good. It's got decent oil pressure, so we've been running it. It's all right so far. We'll see how it does this spring when I'm doing tillage. So yeah, I'm gonna have to bring a disc in here and disc all this up, just knock the corn stalks down and whatnot, because I don't think I will be farming down here next year. In fact, I'm pretty sure I won't be. Moving everything to Connecticut, where it's going to be closer to home. I'm going to have everything parked in my place so I can maintain it a little bit better. It's going to be easier, and all that jazz. Mainly because we're having a kid, and it's going to be a pain in the ass when I have a kid to drive all the way down here an hour to farm. So we just decided it was going to be easier to move everything closer to home. Where these corners are right here, I couldn't really get the head in the rows, so I knocked a lot of corn down. That's why there's full ears on the stalk still over here. But we've sold a lot of corn. I sold to 5 guys today. I went out and bought a nice cleaner. And that does a great job. It really knocked the points off the moisture. Everything we sold today was like, I believe the highest moisture I found was like 14%. It helps we put this in so early, but so yeah, that little bit over there, I'm just waiting for the combine to warm up and then we'll hit it. I got probably a quarter, I don't know, maybe, that thing's probably quarter full, I'd say. This is all uncleaned still. This is all from when we harvested it the other day. So that's been sitting in here. So, yeah, let's get after it. Yeah, as you can see, there's not a whole lot left. This is just what was left after we filled up the 2 wagons. Just gotta watch the corner there because it's a big drainage ditch, goes all the way around the field. It's a little more than I thought, I guess. Go. Gotta watch right here, it's a bit of a trip. Lying in the rows here. on video, but we planted, instead of cultivating this like we did last year, I decided we were gonna spray it to make it easy. Well, this field here is the only one that got sprayed. So the guy that came out to spray, he waited till Escobars had gotten planted, because he does them too, and he wanted to make a special trip out just for me for 15 acres. I don't blame him. But he got out here a little late, so this field here, none of the weeds had started to emerge yet. So we sprayed this, but the field at Simmons, they had just started coming up, and he didn't want to spray that because he was afraid, you know, $1,600 what he would have charged me to spray it. He was like, you know what, it's probably not gonna, you're still gonna have weed pressure, and I don't want you to come back on me, you know. So I can understand, but I had to cultivate 10 acres, and it sucked. And it still, I mean, it did not come up good at all. I mean, you'll see it when we get over there. But I got one of the fields, 3 fields, the one in the middle there is pretty bad. I'm not sure how much of it, we might break even on that field if we're lucky, if we're real lucky. The other 2 look halfway decent. But we've also had, because it's up on a hill, we've had some windstorms come through. I don't even know how well it's standing. If the stalks are as skinny as this here, you know, probably didn't last too well with the wind, but we'll see. Figure we'll test this, see what it looks like. Old Dickie John tester. $15.4, $16.4. I'm good with that. We clean this up and clean it up. Put it through the cleaner and put the fan through it. It'll be pretty solid. You gotta say, for an old combine, for an old John Deere 4400, I mean, this thing cleans really friggin' well. I mean, can't knock that. I mean, this thing does a great job. It's rotted all to hell. I had to go through and do some fiberglass work to this thing this summer. Ugh. That was all gone. It was pouring through there. It's got a leak behind that gear somewhere. All underneath here, that was all trashed. I have, the other side's brand new, this the door here, but I couldn't get this one off, so we just fiberglassed for the time being. That sucks, but... Oh, another good one. The first day of harvest. I pulled in here, get out of the combine and walk around, and this tire is flat as a bull. Yeah, this tire here. Luckily, I went out and bought a spare set like a year ago. I think right here, the hole. Yeah, put my finger right through that. What happened was someone had come out and cut these corn stalks for Halloween, I'm assuming. And the tire went right through it, or this went right through the tire. It's probably this one here. They're cut at a 45, and there's like no budge in this friggin' thing. All right, you wouldn't think that a stalk could go through it, but Evidently it did, and I had to come out, throw a new tire on it, and I didn't end up harvesting that day because the tires were at my house in Connecticut. It's an hour ride and blah, blah, blah. Pain in the dick. Back to the farm, TJ's place. Combine's all cleaned up. I'm gonna try to pick that thing up tomorrow morning and run that down to Simmons so we can start up over there. My problem is I've only got 2 grain dryers, the screw-in aeration fans that I use. I only got 2 of them. I got 4 wagons, so it's getting cold enough now that we can probably get away without using those, or at least switch them up. So probably bring the other 2 wagons down there tomorrow. We got rain coming, so that kind of it all depends on how much rain we got. But other than that, we're looking good.